probably muted, but I'll say hello anyway. Nice to see you. Sort of see you. I see your name. And there's Namita. Good morning. Very nice. All right. I'm going to set everything up here. I'm going to go ahead and get you all on. Let's see, how's this work? No, that's not it. I'm going to put you all on mute so we can get started. Very good. Okay. So lovely to see everyone this morning. Thank you so much for joining. I know a couple of you practiced with me earlier this week, and we had talked about some of the theme that I'm going to bring into today's practice as well. It's been helpful for me to create a theme for each week, and that way I can sort of keep that in my head as I'm working through the different ideas for practices. And I know not everybody goes to every practice, of course, so you'll hear a little bit of repeat if you have practiced before, but it's good because I think it kind of brings back things that will hopefully resonate and let you think about them a little bit more after the class. So this week, we were moving through yoga flows in a way that tapped into our awareness of opening up the heart space and also the what's known as the throat chakra, or this upper body region. So along with that, and in Friday's practice, we did a pretty broad shoulder opener moving into camel. So we've done a lot of backbendy kind of things. Not that we go into a full back bend, but just arching and lifting the heart, which creates that back bend. And today I wanted to, from the physical side of our practice, from the asana, we're going to be continuing that, but really thinking about the heart space in all four directions. The heart is certainly not a two-dimensional organ. And so when we think about opening that space, a lot of times we're just thinking about lifting the heart and expanding out through the chest. And that does indeed open the lungs, and it really brings your awareness into that energy area. But today we're going to be thinking about it in all four directions. So lifting and opening and expanding. We're going to open side to side as well, and opening the back part of the heart, which is often called the shadow part of the heart, the shadow side of the heart, in a more metaphysical sense. So we're going to begin today in a supine Matsyasana, which is fish pose, but using a support. So I have taken a blanket roll and rolled it so that it's fairly wide. You don't have to make it a roll if that may be too much intensity on that upper back. You can also take the blanket and simply fold it and create a little bit more shallow lift. But the support here is to allow the body to passively open, as we would do in a restorative practice, while we take our first few opening breaths. So I'm going to get everyone in place, and then I have a little bit more to share about my thoughts for today. So when you create that blanket roll, you're going to lay back on it, and the shoulders are going to drape off of the back. The head is going to relax down and fall toward the mat. So be sure and create this in a height that allows your neck to be comfortable as it lays back. And then once you have that blanket roll right underneath the mid part of the back, then you can decide where the arms would like to go. They can come out to the side, they can come down next to the hips, or if you really like this feeling and you want to open the arms up overhead, they can drape that direction. And I'll suggest that you go ahead and extend the legs down the mat, unless that creates, again, any sort of feelings that make it feel better if you support yourself with the knees. So just take a few moments here and settle into this position. And then begin to quietly find your breath. Just take a moment to arrive on the mat. And by arrive, I mean arrive in your mind. Let your spiritual side of yourself arrive and really begin to take hold of the physical side, the body. Feel that lift in the heart each time you inhale, drawing that breath in and feeling the expansion of both lungs. As you exhale, you're going to let the body and the shoulders especially drape down and feel heavy. So with each inhalation, you're lifting, expanding. With each exhalation, you're softening and melting. Really try to slow the breath down here, taking a little bit more time with each round of breath than you would normally. A slower breath sends signals to the brain that your body and mind are calm, which relieves any tension and anxiety that you're holding in the body. And I'm going to read something to you this morning. I think, Vicki, I may have read this in our restorative class, so this may be something she's heard before, but this was a little essay from Elephant Journal. And it's all about tapping into your truth and understanding the importance of finding your voice of truth. And the essay said, "Truth is a complicated topic, and the practice of truth has many levels. But along with the day-to-day practice of speaking the truth and refraining from lying, we can start with the practice of recognizing, deeply recognizing, that there is such a thing as truth." So we start simply. We start with the divine structure of our own bodies. There is a true scientific alignment to the human being. There's one specific point, one place where our physical bodies are properly aligned, where we are supported and balanced, and where it takes little to no effort to hold up our heads, and there's no stress on our frame as we hold ourselves erect and walk. This is our center line, our center of gravity. Any deviation from this line results in stress, pain, and excess effort. For every inch the head moves off center, your frame has to support 10 more pounds of weight. Any deviation from our true center is non-alignment. So think about this. Not only are we talking about physical alignment, but finding your center line, your center of gravity, and understanding what resonates true and authentically within your heart is your true alignment. And any deviation from this true alignment results in stress, pain, and unnecessary excess effort. So think about that and bring to mind maybe anything this past week where you found that to be true. Maybe there was an action you took that you thought later, that wasn't really me. Or maybe there was a thought that popped in your head and you were deciding whether to act on it or not. And in the end, you always need to decide what to say and do and what actions to take because they align with your true center. So let's take 3 more breaths in this opening posture. Just thinking about your heart center and your true authentic voice. Coming into yourself in this practice so that you can carry that with you off the mat as well. I'd like to offer an affirmation for this practice today. I listen to the truth that is within me. I listen and embrace the truth that is within me. And now go ahead and begin to rise up just enough. Bring your arms underneath so that you can support the upper part of the body. Rise up and you can pull that bolster roll or blanket out of the way. And then just go ahead and let the back come all the way down, releasing, letting that lift now fall toward the mat. Realign with a more natural. Just take a breath here in neutral. Take a nice deep breath in. Release it and relax out. And then go ahead and bring the feet to the mat, bend the knees, have them about hip distance apart. And let's just go ahead one time and circle the arms around the knees. You can rock back and forth. This is Apanasana. This is always a nice release for the lower back. Press down into that lumbar spine. And then bring the feet back down to the mat. Again, hip bone distance apart. Take a moment and just find the awareness in the soles of your feet. Spread out each 10 toes. Spread them out as far as they go, and then lay each toe down one at a time. This is a really difficult exercise for those of us that don't think about our toes very much. But your toes are such a strong extension of your feet, and in our yoga practice, they really need to be strengthened and used as much as possible. Press down into the soles of your feet and just gently lift up with the hips. Just come up maybe a couple of inches off of the mat. Just a nice gentle opening bridge pose here, engaging the glutes, feeling the quads. Awaken. And then exhale, bring the hips down. Inhale, press down through the soles of the feet. Feel the inner thighs press toward each other as your quads engage. Maybe lift the hips a little bit higher than you did the first time. Hold here. We'll have a breath in this moderate bridge pose. And then release the hips down as you exhale. Now, the next time we press up, I'm going to invite you to come a little bit higher, or you can go to one of the lower versions. So inhale. You can either stay where we were before, holding that moderate bridge, Or you can wiggle walk the shoulder blades in toward each other and lift up through the thoracic spine, lifting the heart. Maybe bring your arms underneath the body and interlace the fingers. This will help support through the shoulders, creating a little bit stronger bridge here. Now you really feel the strength coming all the way up from the shoulders, through the quads, and then again rooting down through the soles of the feet. One more breath here. And then release, let go of the hands. Hips come all the way down. Hug your knees into the chest one more time. Place one hand on the top of each knee and circle the knees out and around and back to the center. So just some nice little gentle hip circles here with hands on the knees. Synchronizing your movements with the breath. I listen to and embrace my own inner truth. And then circle those knees around the other direction. So whichever direction you began with, just create that opposite rotation. One more time around. And bring the feet back down. All right, extend the left leg all the way down the mat. Draw the right knee into the chest. Take the left hand to the outside of the right knee, the right hand into a T off the shoulder, and begin to draw the right knee over to the left. We're creating a little twist here in the lower part of the body. Going to feel a little stretch along the glute, along maybe the piriformis on the outside of the right hip. And try to keep both shoulders planted on the mat. So we're just isolating the twist on the lower part of the body. Breathe here, and now you can feel that expansion coming into the right side lung and down into the internal organs on the right. This is where the liver resides. That major organ that helps cleanse and purify and works so closely with our immune system. Inhale, draw that right knee back up to center and extend the right leg down the mat. Draw the left leg into the chest. Hug the left leg in, and then take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, the left hand into a T off the shoulder. Keep those shoulders planted as you draw the left knee over to the right. Any place that you feel particular tightness or restriction, always send your breath to those areas. Mindfully imagine that breath circulating around the tension and then releasing it, especially as you exhale. Inhale, draw the left leg all the way back up. Bring both feet up to the mat, and let's go ahead and roll to the right side. Press down into the left hand and press yourself up to a seated position. Go ahead and come into a wide leg forward fold, whatever version or whatever extension works for you as wide legs. Sometimes it's more narrow, some of us are much more flexible. But just bring the legs out to the side. We're going to ground down through the hips and feel the spine pressing down all the way from the tailbone and then lifting up through the crown of the head. Inhale up and just take a breath here, feeling that seat getting nicely rooted down in the center. And then we'll take the right hand to the inside of the right shin or calf and begin to slide that arm down as you lift the left arm up, and first just bringing it straight up, stopping here to feel this side extension, And then decide if you want to stay here or if you have a little more room and you want to bring that arm more over that left ear. Whichever version you're in, roll that left shoulder back, getting a little bit more alignment on the side bend. Inhale, draw the arm back up and come back to center. Bring the left arm to the inside of the left thigh. Draw the right arm up, first bringing it straight up. Create that good alignment. And then begin to slide the left arm down. And decide if you want to bring that right arm directly over the ear. You may be more bendy on one side than the other. Just find your edge. The edge is what we define as that area of deep engagement, but where there is no pain. Nice breath here. Inhale and bring that arm down. Just bring the hands directly in front of you now and just gently slide those hands forward, just creating a little rolled back. You're actually rounding the back here and allowing the neck to fall forward. Come down to your forearms if you find that's accessible. You can come down to a block as well. Just letting the back roll over and round, letting the shoulders drape down toward the earth. Inhale, come back up to that center line. And we're going to swing the legs around and come to hands and knees position for tabletop. And tabletop, find that nice solid square. Draw the navel up to the spine. Immediately feel that lower back get supported when you draw the core in and up. Take a breath here to begin. And then we're going to drop the belly down, allowing the hips to widen. Tilt forward slightly and soften the elbows as you gaze upward for cow tilt. Exhale, draw the chin to the chest. Press the back side of the heart up to the ceiling for cat stretch. Oh, that one always feels good to me. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Always synchronizing your breath and using that beautiful rhythmic flow to work with your movements. A couple more times here. Just go at your own pace and always feel free to stop and get a little extra stretch wherever you feel it serves you best. Coming back to a neutral spine. We're going to press back into a child's pose. So just let the torso come down between the knees. The head's going to come all the way down and maybe even the brow comes to the mat. Take a moment here, breathe into your lower back. Feel the softening and the release. I listen to and embrace my own inner truth. And then bring your hands, we're going to bring the hands over toward the left. So just kind of walk the fingers both a little bit toward the left. So they're kind of facing, they're more pointing toward the left upper corner of your mat. And then take the right hand and actually place it on top of the left. So the palm is just coming on top of the back of the left hand. Allow the head to come down again. You're going to feel that stretch all along the outside of the body, up through the right arm and shoulder. Nice deep breaths here. And then we're going to walk the hands the other direction. So just slide them over toward the right. The right arm may be a little bit off the mat at this point, and then take the left hand on top of the right. Settle down again. Just feel that heaviness of the body. Allow it to passively open on that left side. The heart can just drop down between the knees. Find your ease in the stretch. And you bring the hands back to center. Come back up to tabletop. We're going to swing the right arm up and overhead, rotating and drawing the fingers up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, bring it down and underneath the left, coming to rest on that right side shoulder and the right side of the head behind the ear. Breathe deeply here, and then decide what you'd like to do with that left arm. You can either leave it with the palm down on the mat to support the body. You can stretch that left hand and arm all the way out front and rotate the heart closer toward the mat. So you got a couple of options here. Nice deep breaths, pulling it all the way into the belly and all the way out. Can't emphasize enough the importance of that breath. Press down into the left palm and realign back in tabletop. Let's inhale the left arm up, sweeping it up toward the ceiling, and then down and through the right, threading the needle on the other side. Take a moment here to just feel how your twist works on this side. Usually the sides of our bodies are very different, so if you feel more restriction on one side than the other, you're completely normal. And then decide if you want to leave that right hand in the palm next to your face, or you can stretch that right arm out and maybe rotate the heart down a little bit further. This is a deep stretch for the shoulders, so, depending on how open your shoulders are, you can determine if this feels best for you or if your true alignment lies somewhere else. And bring that right hand back. If you had it outstretched, come back and set up in tabletop. All right, I'm going to have us sit back on the feet for just a second, and that blanket roll or towel that you used for our first posture, you may want to spread that out over the mat. We're going to be on the knees for just a moment. So you might want to put that underneath the knees for a kneeling pose. I'm going to face toward you so that it makes a little bit more sense here. And we're going to move into gate pose. Now, if gate pose for any reason causes an issue with your hips to have the leg outstretched, I'm going to suggest that you just stay in the kneeling posture and use the upper part of the body stretch. So go ahead, if you're in that kneeling position, let's come on up onto the knees. So in other words, you can stay here. You can go into the full gate pose, which is to bring the leg directly off the body. Or you can position that leg out front. In other words, if your hips are creating an issue with that lateral movement, just find a place where you can support yourself, or you can even stay in just the beginning kneeling position. All right? So I'm going to bring the leg out to the side for a typical gate pose. We're going to draw the energy up, lock down through the lower part of the body and the core. Inhale, draw the arms up and overhead. Reach and extend in the top of that inhalation. And then drop the right hand to the right knee. Lift the left arm straight up. And once again, just like we did in the earlier fold, we're going to bring that arm across the ear, sliding the right hand down the leg to the extent that your edge tells you to stop. Breathe here. Roll that left shoulder back. I know there's a tendency to want to bring it forward so you can reach further. Rolling it back is more difficult, but you're going to get more better alignment here. One more breath. And then inhale, bring both arms up, and then release both arms down. Now we're going to go into a moving gait. So we're going to do that same flow, but a couple of times in succession. So we're going to inhale up, use your breath, inhale, exhale, arm down, inhale, arm up, exhale, and fold. Inhale, both arms up, exhale, release down. One more time. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, hand down. Inhale, arm reach. Exhale, and extend. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, release. Bring the hands back down. If you had the leg out, bring the leg back up under. And go ahead and take a second to just stretch that hip back, the one where you had the leg extended. You're going to press backward and sort of diagonally into that hip. Just get a little bit of a nice stretch. Sometimes those quads, the glutes can even get a little crampy if you're not used to that. Walk the hands back up, and we're going to set up for the other side. So this time, left leg coming out to the side if you're in a full gait. Lift up first, always create the alignment to begin, and then draw the arms up and overhead. Really lift and extend, feel the energy coming all the way up through the fingers. And then bring that left hand down to the left thigh. Lift the right arm higher, and then begin to slide that hand down the leg as you fold over the ear. With each breath, feel that extension coming up the side of the body, getting that deep bend. Roll that right shoulder back. One more breath. And then draw both hands up and release down. One more time, going into moving gait. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hand down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, down. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hand down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, extend. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Bring that left leg back up under. Come back down into tabletop and push back into that left hip. Just push into anything that got stretched or crampy on that last one. All right, come back up. I'm going to turn back around so that we can flow a little bit. I'm going to remove the blanket. I don't think that we should need it for anything else right now. Setting back up into tabletop. We're going to flow up and down a little bit now. So curl the toes. Let's lift the knees off the mat and press back into a downward facing dog. Now we haven't really stretched the hamstrings a lot, so if the knees need to stay a little bit soft, maybe a little bit bent, that is perfectly fine. What I want you to feel is the extension of the spine either way. So the hamstrings are secondary to really feeling the extension and openness in the spine here. Nice deep breath. Inhale, and everyone release. Inhale and release. One more time. Inhale and release. Walk the feet up the mat. 1, 2, 3. Coming into a forward fold. Hands reaching either down to the mat or using those blocks to help support your forward fold. Either way. Knees can be a little bit soft. Once again, let's take it slow. Just feel that extension and the beginning stretch in the hamstrings. Lift up, create a flat back, and move the heart forward. Exhale and fold. Inhale, press down through your feet, rising all the way up and overhead. Fingers reaching skyward. Exhale into a slight back bend, letting the hands come backward, the throat open, collarbones are nice and wide. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the side. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, right hand comes to the right side. Left arm reaches up. Exhale and crescent bend toward the right. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, left hand comes to the left thigh. Right arm reaches up. Exhale, bend to the left side, creating that crescent. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale and fold. Step back. Step your right foot back to a runner's lunge. Once again, always using your blocks for support if that aids your lunge and your alignment. Take care to bring the right hip forward and press the left hip back. So you're trying to square the hips toward the front of the mat. Feel that nice long extension coming through the right leg, pressing into the ball of the foot. Extend through the crown of the head. Feel the strength here, and then hold that lower body strength. Really use the core to lift up through the pelvic region and bring your hands to your heart. So we're bringing the hands to Anjali Mudra now, letting go of the mat and the blocks if you can. Breathe here. And then see if maybe you can bring that left elbow to the inside of the left thigh. And maybe turn that torso toward the right. This is going to take strength through the core, so hold that pelvic floor and those core areas really strong here. And then come back to center. Let's bring the hands back down to the blocks or mat. Drop the right knee down to the mat. Uncurl the toe. Now we're in Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. Take the right hand to the mat. Left hand is going to sweep out and up as we turn the heart toward the left. Nice rotation here, feeling that heart space open. Exhale, bring that left hand back down. Lift up through the right leg and bring the right leg forward. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift, draw the heart forward. Exhale and fold. Inhale, press all the way up. Arms come up and overhead. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, upward facing hands. Exhale, Uttanasana or forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. This time we'll bring the left foot back, setting up for our low runner's lunge on this side. Again, square the hips to the front and feel that center of strength, that powerhouse coming from your core as it supports you. One breath here, and then use that support to lift up slightly so that you've got the hands at the heart. Stay strong here. And then again, your choice. If you want to try to take the rotation, take the right elbow to the inside of the right thigh and rotate the heart toward the left. Use your breath. Listen to that inner voice. I listen to and embrace my own inner truth. Come back to center. Bring the hands back to the supports and drop the left knee. Uncurl the left toes. Now Now we're in that Anjaneyasana once again. We're going to bring the support to the left hand, draw the right arm up, and rotate the heart toward the right. Exhale, bring that right arm back down. Curl the left toe, bring the left knee back up, and draw the left foot forward. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, press all the way up, arms up and overhead. Exhale, back bend. Bring the pinky fingers toward the center. Open the fingers widely. Lift the heart. Feel that space opening up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen, and fold. Step back to downward facing dog. This time pressing the hips maybe a little bit higher as you extend and the legs are lengthened and strengthened. Inhale, come forward, come back down to the knees. Spread those knees wide and release into child's pose for a breath. To thine own self be true. Always be true to that authentic voice. If something tells you that this isn't right for you, you always, always listen. That is how you stay in alignment and how you stay at peace. Inhale, rock forward, come back into your tabletop. And from here, we're going to press the back of the heart up, just like we're moving into, well, we'll go ahead and move into a cat stretch. So really lift up and arch through the back. And then we're going to hold that arch as we walk the hands toward the knees. So try to maintain that same arch as you walk the hands backward. From here, with the hands back toward the knees, we're going to drop the crown of the head toward the mat, straight down. Still supporting yourself with the hands so you're not dropping the head heavily on the mat, but just barely hovering until you can almost just barely feel the top of the mat. Nice deep breath in, really open up the back of the heart here. And if you like, you can take your hands and reach back toward your heels or ankles, creating a little bit more of a stretch through the cervical spine. This is Hare Pose. And then draw, if you have the hands back, draw them forward, bring them back up underneath. Rise back up into tabletop position. All right. What we've got time for here. I think we're on track actually, which is nice. So we're going to flow up one more time. Lift the knees up, press back to downward facing dog. Bring the right foot forward between the hands. Walk it forward and come into that low runner's lunge. Now we're going to try to stay on the ball of that left foot if you can. So we're in a low lunge on the ball of the left foot. Again, using blocks however you need for support. And then from here, using that core strength, lifting all the way up, pressing back, using that left leg for strength, raising the arms up and overhead, coming into high crescent lunge. When you come into the crescent, if you need to drop that left heel down for support, feel free to do so. Draw the pinkies in as you lean a little bit further back. Listen to your heart. Open the space for the truth that's inside. All right, bring those hands back down. This is hard to do, slow and hold it. And then when your hands come back down, you'll bring the right foot back, press back into downward facing dog. It's much harder to hold these poses, I think, than it is to just quickly move from one to the other. Inhale, draw the left foot forward between the hands, coming into that low runner's lunge on the other side. Stabilize yourself first by using your core and your right foot to press down and lift up through the back of the right thigh. And then begin to draw the arms up once again, staying on the ball of the right foot if you can, dropping the heel as needed. Lift and then see if you can create that back bend a little bit more. Very nice. Exhale, bring the hands back down. Slide the left foot back. One more time, downward facing dog. And then we're going to roll forward into a plank and then drop the knees, lowering the body all the way down into a prone position. Setting up with the elbows underneath the shoulders for a Sphinx pose. Once you're in your Sphinx pose, take a look at your fingers and open those fingers widely. Feel the support and the solid foundation coming up from the palms of each hand. Lift up the heart, press the shoulders back toward the back. Your gaze is about a foot or two in front of the mat. You don't want the head cranked up. And feel free, if you want, to bring something like a block up underneath if the neck needs to be released down. You won't compromise the lift in the heart by doing so. You'll just create less of a strain on your neck. Breathe here. Reach back with each leg, feeling that extension through the back of the body. One more breath. And you can fold those arms down in front. And if you like, you can drop the head on the top of the forearms and release all the way down. Just soften the body and feel that nice release. I listen to and embrace the truth that is within me. And in so doing, create a sense of my own divine alignment. Take the hands back underneath the shoulders. Let's press up. And one last time, press back into a child's pose. You can have the arms out front or you can drape them around the back of the body. Just release everything down and soften in child. Forward, come back up to a seat. We'll swing the legs around and we're going to roll all the way down. Have that blankets handy. I would suggest taking that blanket or towel, and this time not creating a roll so much, but just folding it over so you have a little bit of height to the blanket, maybe 2 or 3 inches. And then we're going to take that blanket underneath the hips. So just find a nice place where it can support right on that lower back where the sacrum resides. And then once you have that in place, you've got that little cushion for the sacrum that will rise, we're going to begin to lift the right foot and press the sole of the foot up toward the ceiling. And then maybe take the left foot and raise that left foot up as well. Now we're not trying to bring the feet up toward the head. In fact, we're trying to create a kind of an L shape, like a nice 90-degree angle here with the feet and the hips. So once again, true alignment. Think about the bones stacking on top of the bones. The ankle to the knee to the hip. Think about the weight and the distribution of those bones and the alignment coming straight down and then being supported on either side with the hip. And then of course you're getting a nice little support with the cushion here, so that's making it a little bit more seamless. So just trying to hold those legs there in a position of ease. We are now in waterfall pose. And waterfall is what's considered an inversion because our heart is a little bit more elevated than our head. Our head is just a little bit more sloped down toward the mat. The heart is a little bit higher. But it also just reverses the blood flow and the need for the heart to push that blood flow up through the feet. The blood just comes back down to the body a lot easier. So this is considered a restful position. And it gives our heart the rest that it needs. You can also do this up against a wall at any time. We just call it legs up a wall in that sense. But if you find yourself exhausted during the day and you want to create a little bit of an energy boost for yourself, just lay down on the floor, lift your legs up, and sit in this position for 10 or 15 minutes. It can do amazing things for you and even do as much for you as a cup of coffee, honestly, because it really supports and rests your body. One more breath here. And then gently begin to bend the knees, bring the feet back down to the mat. Lift the hips up. You can slide that blanket out. And then go ahead and set up for whatever version of Shavasana speaks to you. If you'd like to be all the way out, flat on the mat in corpse pose, that. If you like the knees to be supported, you can put that blanket roll underneath the knees. Just find your own personal expression of Shavasana that works best for you. And then take your ease, take your rest. You've worked hard in this practice. The body has worked for you, and now you need to give to the body. But even more so, you need to give to your mind and your spirit. And allow that peace and calm to roll over you. Jack Kornfield says, "Be gentle with yourself. It should not be a struggle. Know your limitations. Extend your compassion only so far as you feel your heart open naturally to it. Plant your seed of trust, and it will grow in its season. And I think that that seed of trust is what we have to allow ourselves when we stop overanalyzing and we stop worrying about comparisons with others. We stop and let go of expectations that we put on ourselves or that we feel others are putting on us. When we let go of self-recrimination for not doing something that we think we should have. When we let go of those things, we let go of suffering. And the Buddhist monk Pema Chodron says, the most difficult times for many of us are the ones we give ourselves. And isn't that true? So come to know your inner heart. Come to love and accept who you are and trust who you are. And continuing that essay from Elephant Journal, it says, truth is something we can directly experience. It's not a thought. It's not a concept. When we're in true alignment, our lives become easier. Everything requires less effort. A big part of our practice of learning satya or inner truth is to recognize our divine alignment, the place where we are connected to a larger order. This is yoga. Yoga is connection to ourself and the larger order. begin to invite a little bit more awareness back into your physical space, drawing the breath in and feeling the beauty of that breath invade every inch of your body. Releasing out any residual tension left. Drawing in that beautiful breath that sustains you, that allows you to come home to yourself. Maybe draw some action in the fingers and the toes and circle the wrists and ankles. As you're ready, draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself one sweet final hug for this practice in gratitude for what you've done for yourself. As you're ready, roll to one side or the other. Come back up to a seated position, and we'll close our practice in Sukhasana. Let's all raise the arms up and overhead, reaching and extending the fingers skyward to all that is source, and then drawing the hands down to heart center. Always listen and embrace that inner voice that is your true divine alignment and truth. May it serve you on and off the mat every day. The light in me honors and is grateful for the light in each and every one of you. Thank you so much for practicing. Namaste.